Steps to take on training implementation. Step 1. Define how a job should be done. Who, what, why, where, and when. A trainer must know how the job should be done before the best way can be taught. Develop a list of tasks. Define each task. Determine required quality levels. Construct a job description. How is a task list developed? Think about the required tasks to perform a specific job. Observe employees in that job and what they do. Discuss with employees the tasks they do and ask their opinions about which are the most important and why. Ask other supervisors to identify tasks that their subordinates perform in similar job situations. Study the job description to see how accurately it reflects the objectives of the specific job. The second activity to develop a position analysis is to design a method to break down each task. This breakdown answers the question, how exactly should a task be performed? It should tell how, when, and what of each task and specify any required equipment, supplies, or procedures that are needed. Determine required quality levels. Trainers must assure that the task breakdown will yield output that meets or exceeds quality standards. Constantly stress quality as an integral part of each task. Show how quality standards are built into work output. Identify those products or services that do not meet quality standards and correct them. Design a job description. Once developed, a job description can be used for many purposes. To inform applicants being recruited about important aspects of the job. To indicate the parameters of job requirements to be addressed during training. As a management tool to help supervise employees. To assist in employee appraisal. Employees should be evaluated based on how well they do the work described in the job description. As an aid in developing compensation rates for different positions. Step 2, plan the training. To plan the training, a trainer must consider training objectives, develop a training plan, design a training lesson, select the trainers, prepare the trainees. Why proper planning is required? The trainer forgot that training was to take place. As a trainee, you were uncertain about what you needed to learn. The training was often interrupted because of outside priorities. The quality of training was lowered by the lack of supplies or unavailable equipment. The procedures taught by the trainer were not consistent with what the written or audio visual material said to do, what others told you to do, what you saw others do. The training was unorganized. For example, procedures were taught out of sequence. The trainer was ineffective because of attitude or a lack of knowledge. There were no written or other materials to help you learn. Training was done only when there was time. Training objectives must be attainable and measurable. You can't plan a program until you first know what the training is to accomplish. Develop a training plan. Once attainable and measurable training objectives have been considered, a training plan can be developed. A training plan can be for either a complete training program or something focusing on just one task. Ensure that record is kept for each trainee. Computer database can help track each trainee's progress. Trainees play an important role in training. Employees are surveyed about current training needs. Employees are interviewed about ways that induction programs can be improved. Employees evaluate current programs and are given an opportunity to comment on how they can be improved. Training programs maximize participation by trainees. Trainees evaluate trainers following its program. During performance reviews, employees are asked about the relationship between training activities and job requirements and performance. Recent trainees are solicited to endorse the need for training with their peers. Trainees are asked how to improve training during the program and not just at the conclusion of training. Group training. The same information needs to be presented to several persons. When time is limited and several trainees must be trained. When trainees' experience and background are similar. When cost is a consideration. Individual training. The primary purpose of training is to present a wide range of extensive details. When training needs to personally involve the trainee. When highly specialized training is required. Design a training lesson. A training lesson does several things. It provides a content outline for the session, suggests activities, specific instructions which will help facilitate training, defines suggested time to be spent on each segment within the session, prepare the trainees. Trainees must be considered. They must be prepared for the experience. To prepare trainees, consider ways to reduce anxieties by telling what the training will involve. Emphasize that trainee concerns will be addressed. Inform trainees that training will be directly related to the work they were hired to do. Indicate that efforts will be made to keep the training experience enjoyable and worthwhile. Let trainees know the basis on which they will be evaluated. Who will be a good trainer? The following characteristics are important in a trainer. The trainer must have an interest in training. The trainer should have a sense of humor. The trainer must be a good communicator. The trainer must have patience. The trainer must have the time to train. The trainer must have the respect of colleagues. The trainer must be enthusiastic. The trainer must be interested in the success of each trainee. Step 3. Present the training. Range of useful training methods. Lectures. A trainer talks to the trainees. Videos, overheads, slides, films, etc. can supplement the lecture. Role playing. The trainees act out of situation after learning basic principles. Case studies. Trainees read, analyze, and discuss real-life situations. Demonstration. A trainer or other party shows how to do something. Self-study materials, books, magazines, technical bulletins. On-the-job training. On-the-job training is the most popular training method in small organizations. It is a great method if done correctly. Many managers believe on-the-job training is the best method because it is simple and fast. No planning is required. It is a method anybody can use. Incorporate the following before start of on-the-job training. Pre-planning is necessary. Trainer selection is important. Written materials. Time for training must be provided. Prepare the work area. Evaluation is an integral part of on-the-job training. Even if a supervisor delegates on-the-job training to a subordinate, it is important for the supervisor to keep up with training progress. On-the-job training time should not be wasted teaching tasks an employee already understands. 4 activities for on-the-job training. Preparation. The first step in on-the-job training involves preparation. This is the most important and typically the most overlooked. Presentation. This step is simply showing an employee how the work should be done. The trainer must have adequate time to explain to the trainee what must be done while carefully demonstrating the whats and whys of each procedure. Demonstration. The trainee should be allowed to show the trainer what has been learned. Done effectively, this step involves more than the trainer simply allowing the trainee to work alone and returning later to check performance. Rather, a trainer should closely observe the trainee and provide immediate feedback, positive reinforcement, or corrective action help to help the trainee apply what has been learned. Follow up. Over time, trainees forget the required work procedures. They may have discovered shortcuts that are not better methods than those during training. These are examples of when the trainer must, after observation, provide corrective action. Get trainees back on track. Step 4. Evaluate the training. Why evaluate? All trainees need to learn if their training has been successful. If it has, the subject matter, approach, and method may be used for additional training efforts. If it has not, current trainees may need additional training, and future programs may need to include different and future programs may need to include different subject matter and or different training methods or techniques. Principles of training evaluation. Evaluation efforts must address the extent to which measurable objectives stated at the beginning of the training are attained. Evaluation must focus on training methods, training content, training environment. Trainees can be asked about training experiences. Trainees can be observed to assess training effectiveness. Trainees can be tested to measure knowledge gained. A pre-test about subject matter can be given before the training begins. A post-test comprised of the same questions is given after training is completed. Trainers must realize that new techniques should be used if training evaluation consistently identifies problems. Evaluation done before the conclusion of training can help a trainer identify areas where changes in training can be helpful. As training programs are planned, trainers should consistently think about how they will be evaluated. Trainers should use results of training evaluation to assess the cost effectiveness of training efforts. Evaluate by measuring the results. Areas in which effective training can be expected to make a measurable difference. Attitudes, values, knowledge, and skills. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching.